At the time of recording this video, tomorrow marks the beginning of a new month. And if I only had the month to really make sure and guarantee that I built a massive amount of social confidence, and I look back at the end of the month and just say, damn, like I am a completely different person. My social confidence is so much higher. My conversation skills are so much stronger. The girls I'm talking to now are like, I can't even believe 30 days ago I was afraid to go and talk to those women. If I could do that transformation in 1 month, I want to share with you guys how I would do that. And it's not that crazy. I'm not going to lay out some master plan on the whiteboard for this video. I actually want to simplify this because I feel like overcomplication leads to a lack of execution, right? When something's very simple and you have a very easy criteria to go do something, you can typically act on it a lot easier, and that's how you can actually make progress. So the very first thing I want to talk about is the mindset shift that you're going to need to go through, practical steps that you're going to go do for the month, and then I guess the shortcomings. Like this is where most guys would go wrong that I see that try to do this. I have a lot of guys that come into my one-on-one coaching program and they've watched my content already for weeks or months before. Not that you need to. I have some guys that watched me for a couple of days. They're like, yo, I want to do this shit. I want to work with you. Boom, let's get it. Awesome. I have other guys who have watched me for weeks or months that have tried to go and do this on their own, and this is where they have the shortcomings that I want to share with you. I also have guys that have been watching me for years. Like some of you guys have been literally watching me for years, and you're still in the same situation, and I don't even know what you guys are waiting for. You guys are just fucking, you've lost years at this point, bro. Like when are you gonna pull the trigger, right? I want to talk about the guys that have been trying to do this and where they go wrong with it, all right? So I'm gonna share this all with you in this video. If you're somebody who's ready, you've been watching me only for a couple of days or a couple months or years, and you're like, yo, enough of the videos. I want to actually work with you and get real results, Kyle. Link is in the description. Fill out an application, work with me directly. Let's get shit popping, dude. I don't know what you're waiting for, but let's lay this out. So we got 1 month, and yes, believe me when I say that 1 month is more than enough to actually get results. More than enough. I had a client recently in 2 weeks of coming into the program, never made an approach, just landed his first Insta date. And that is not a rare one-off case. There are a lot of clients within the first couple of weeks that have really big breakthroughs. Most guys within the first week, they get over the approach anxiety. Second week, we're doing direct intent approaches and having success with them. And then we still have week 3, week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to go into longer conversations, phone numbers, dates, right? So it does not need to take a lot of months or years. This can happen very quickly. All right, so that's the first thing, because if your perspective is, damn, Kyle's been doing this for 12 years. I'm just starting. I've struggled with it for a couple years. I'm not ready for a decade-long amount of work. That's incorrect, okay? You can have big breakthroughs in a month, like really big breakthroughs in a month. You can be borderline unrecognizable a month from now if you went really hard, okay? So that's the first thing, is understanding, a month is actually more than enough time if you're doing things right. Now, the second mindset is that you're not only going to practice on the 10s, all right? Yes, the 10s are the girls you would be really, really excited to go on dates with. That is not who you are primarily practicing on though, okay? Because if you walk around just waiting for the 10s, it's gonna be a big deal. It's gonna be a really big deal. And you're probably only gonna do 1 approach or 0 approaches, maybe 2 approaches. If you're really ballsy, you'll do 3 approaches. But that is simply not enough action to build this thing fast. If you have a month to get really good, I would say you need to talk to 10 women a day, right? If your heart just dropped and you're about to go change the video because that seems unrealistic, let me explain. I didn't say go talk to 10 dimes. I said talk to 10 women, because in any city, I promise you there's gonna be a day where I make a video where we go into the middle of fucking nowhere and I show you how to do this. I gotta like drive to like Wisconsin or some really small, unpopulated city and actually go practice my social skills. I just haven't had the time to make that video, but you can practice this anywhere. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're in like Alaska. You go to the main shopping center that's within 30 minutes and you will see at least 10 people over the course of 30 to 60 minutes. Right? So understand that any woman that is even mildly attractive, you're gonna look at these women and think it's either a 0 or a 1. A 0 means There's absolutely nothing about this woman that I can admire or appreciate or even think is mildly attractive. All right. A 1 means there is at least one thing about her that you can appreciate, that you can admire, that you could give a compliment on, or that you could find attractive. Okay? It's either a 1 or a 0. It's not, is she my 10? It's a 1 or a 0 to evaluate, can I practice and gain experience on this person? And honestly, guys, a lot of you are so low when it comes to opening and just basic conversation, like foundational conversation, not even flirting, just foundational conversation. Those skill sets you can actually practice on anybody, not just with attractive women. So when you start to understand that with women, the criteria to practice is either a 1 or a 0 in terms of flirting and setting up dates, and then everybody else in the world, it is a 1 when it comes to opening and practicing conversation skills. Well, that now enables pretty much the whole world. And the 10s are this tiny little dot on the map versus what most guys are doing is they're only trying to find the little dot on the map, and they're going around their day and they never encounter one, and then they finally encounter one. Oh, it's a huge deal. And you don't have any practice, you have no momentum, and you're not going to talk to that girl. You're definitely not going to get success that way. Right? So a lot of my clients, we just start them off with level 1, level 2, opening and starting to have a short 10-second interaction with anybody, right? And we coach them through those sessions. We will have you out in the field multiple times per week, and we are pushing you through level 1 and level 2, helping you with the implementation, giving you the support, reviewing your interactions, doing some role play, answering your questions, tightening up your conversation, and then we keep going. We do a little bit more and a little bit more until we have you at a place where you're opening more people, not 10s, more people than you ever have in your day-to-day life. I had a client who opened more people in a week than he said he did in his last year of interaction. Not 10s, people, right? This is how you start to get good. So when you start to look at it like, I need to talk to 10 people a day, they're either a 1 or a 0. If it's a 1, I could actually flirt with them or display intent. If it's a 0, I can at least open and start to have a conversation with them. If you just look at, that's the mindset shift, man. Okay? Huge mindset shift, because now you can go out in your day-to-day and you'll start to see all the opportunity. You're walking around right now thinking, oh, she's not good enough. I wouldn't date her. Oh, no, I wouldn't date her. No, I wouldn't date her. Wouldn't date her. Wouldn't date her. Oh, she's hot. Oh, no, I can't talk to her. She's got a boyfriend. Like you're training yourself to make an excuse to not open. I want you to train yourself to open everybody, right? And so once we typically push clients through that, which only takes a couple of days. I'd say within the first 3-4 days of the program, we already have guys opening more in their day-to-day than they ever have in the past year of their life, because they're so in their head, in their routine, head down, not talking to anybody, right? Now from there, the next thing we actually do is get good at injecting a little bit of flirtatiousness, direct intent, right? Carrying the conversation further, right? Now, if you're somebody who's really trying to make a big transformation in a month's time, you don't even need to think anything beyond that. Your only goals is to open and start to have a little bit of conversation with 10 people a day. Now look, if there's an attractive girl that walks by, 8, 9, 10, cool. You could take it a little bit further, meaning instead of just having normal conversation, you're gonna inject the tiniest bit of intent. You could say something like, hey, I gotta get going. I just wanna say, I thought you looked really cute today. Have a great day, right? That's where you start with the really attractive women. Everybody else, you're trying to have at least a couple seconds of conversation. You ask them a question, then you give a compliment, then you talk a little bit about your day, and at some point you run out of stuff to say, probably if you're at a low enough level, and then you eject. But you do that 10 times a day. And if, as I'm saying this, you're like, well, dude, that's gonna take so much time. No, it's really not. You go to the nearest store, and the first 10 people you see, like I could actually bang this out probably in, if I like gun to my head, I could probably have 10 1-minute conversations in about 15 minutes. Now I understand that that's really fast, but if we were to double that or triple that or even 4x that, now we're looking at 30 to 60 minutes. And dude, if you're really trying to take this serious and you go out every single day, what you'll find is that after 7 days, you're no longer gonna feel weird about it. Right? Like I have clients that have been watching, I told you earlier in this video, the guys that have been watching my content for a little while, they go out and they try to do this by themselves and they probably get to a certain level, but where they're going wrong is they're not doing it enough because they're by themselves. They don't have enough accountability. And then also when they're out, they're not opening enough people because they don't have enough of a push behind them, right? So once we book out the calls with them and there's somebody on the call with them while they're out in the field, and then you have a coaching call where we're breaking down how your week went, breaking down your interactions, answering your questions, reframing your brain to make sure you're on the right track, that's how you could actually have breakthroughs. Without those things, you go out a little bit, you make a little bit of progress, you hit a bad day or a bad week, or you get sick, or you have to spend an extra week working, and then you lose all your momentum, and then you just kind of fall off because you don't have the accountability and the support to get back on track, right? Like that's where I've seen a lot of guys go wrong. They did a little bit of this, they got good at compliments, they got good at like extending the interaction a little bit, and then they got to direct approaches, and then they just kind of stalled. They had a bad week, and then they fell out of momentum, and then it was too hard for them to go again. And then a month went by, and then they were like, okay, fuck this, like I want to work with Kyle, and then they finally pulled the trigger. It's not always like that. Like I said, there's guys who just found me, they're like, yo, this shit's working, let's take it to the next level. And then there's guys that have been sitting on this thing for years. You need to figure out where you're at. If you could do this by yourself, I would say go take the month, like go take this shit seriously for 4 weeks and see what level you could get to by yourself. If you can do this, awesome. There are plenty of other videos on my channel to show you how to go to the levels above that. If you're not doing this, or you're like, dude, I've already tried this, or I just know I can, I've been pussying out in my day-to-day, or I'm not leveling up at a fast enough rate to the point where this is fun, and you really want to get good at this because it is a superpower, guys. Like you can go into, when you get good, you can go anywhere in the world and start approaching women, making friends, building a social circle, having a fulfilling dating life, and you just feel confident within yourself. Like that's what it's all about. It's about walking around feeling like you have the freedom and the confidence to talk to anybody, to do anything you want, to not be suppressed and shackled within your life. And if you want that for your own life, I would love to help you make that transformation. You can work with us directly to take you through everything I just laid out in this video. It doesn't need to be 10 approaches a day. I have guys that have success with this doing it 3-4 days a week, right? 2, 3, 4 days a week, depending on your schedule. But we will push you, right? And we will get you to the next level. I promise you that, okay? Links in the description. Pick out a day and a time to have a free consultation call with us so we can at least talk about where you're at and how I can help. Watching the videos won't change your life. Working with us will change your life. Link is in the description. Go for it, guys. Go after it this month. Let me know how it goes in the comments. That's all for this one. Peace out. Let's go.